Okay, good evening. I would like to call the meeting of the Anne Arundel County Police Accountability Board to order. My name is Jeanette Ortiz, and I am the chair of the PAB. Before we get started, first thing on the agenda will be approval of the minutes from the May 20 meeting of the PAB and the video recording, which was shared with board members and available on our website. Will serve as the minutes for that meeting. At the May meeting, we heard from the Anne Arundel County Crisis Response System and Crisis Intervention Team and the collaboration with the Anne Arundel County Police Department. We also received updates from the Office of Police Accountability. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the May meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the meeting minutes for the May 20 meeting of the PAB are unanimously approved. All right, next we will jump into the public comment portion of the meeting. Just a few friendly reminders. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to provide public comment. A speaker representing an organization shall have 5 minutes to provide public comment. Timer will be used to keep time. Once the timer sounds, please wrap up your comments. Any remaining time may not be allocated to another speaker. We ask that comments remain civil and appropriate for the various audiences watching the meeting. The board cannot discuss any specific cases. It is also not the practice of the board to engage in back and forth with speakers. We did not have anyone signed up in advance, and it doesn't look like we have anyone from the public. So we'll move on to on the agenda, but obviously if there are any members of the public who join later, we'll open it up as we normally do for public comment. All right, next on the agenda, we have Moya Panda with the Office of Police Accountability providing updates.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the June PAB meeting. I have 2 updates today. The first, Jen did send a copy of the data that the ACC has been up to for you all to review. Just a high-level update since December 1st of 2024. Through June 17, 2025, the ACC has reviewed 76 charges. And of course, I say charges and not officers because we know that officers can have multiple charges. So they've reviewed 76 charges. 52 of those were not administratively charged and 24 were administratively charged. The bulk of the complaints were conduct and conduct unbecoming for the total bulk of that. And the second update that I have is I had the pleasure of going to the Juneteenth gala last Friday that's put on by the Celebrate Annapolis Juneteenth Corporation. I saw Chief Jackson from Annapolis PD there, as well as Sheriff Sesker from the Sheriff's Office. There are 2 awardees that were given an award. Firefighter Jonas Brooks, and I bring that up because he's actually with the Annapolis Fire Department, but he was trained with Anne Arundel County Police Department as a bomb squad or bomb technician, so I thought that was pretty amazing. The second person who received an award was Reverend S. Jerry Colbert, who's a chaplain of the Annapolis Police Department, so I thought that was pretty cool and I wanted to share that with you all. If you have any questions about the ACC data that you review, please just let me know.
Thanks so much, Moya, for that update. Everyone should have received the email from Jen. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, it's really good data. It's broken down by the categories and the charges and the various types of charges and detail from the alleged misconduct. Any questions for Moya? All right, great. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll move on to our quarterly reports from the 5 law enforcement agencies. Just as a friendly reminder, in accordance with state law, the agencies are required to report to the PAB on a quarterly basis, and the reports are regarding any allegations of police misconduct and any data related to that. Of course, we've also asked the agencies to report on any compliments they've received from the public and anything else, of interest related to the work that they're doing in the community and in their roles. So first up, we have Crofton Police Department. We have Chief Jett. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just making sure. Sometimes this got troubleshooting issues over here, but no. Just currently, right now, we do have one open complaint. I do expect that to be completed by week's end and forwarded to the ACC. Again, I think this is our 5th complaint now that we've been actually handling all these. We don't see a lot of them. This just involved a traffic stop. I won't get into details in relation to it, but the ACC should have that by week's end, as I said. That's the only one we're dealing with right now. Just some of our community engagements here of late. Just this weekend, we all participated and escorted the Crofton Pride Parade around our community, and also had a resource fair afterwards. We also escorted our seniors from Crofton High School around. They wanted a parade as well. So every time, it's like a new thing. Once a high school went in, like what, 2 years ago now, they initially had a first-year graduates out of there. Now everybody wants to do it when they graduate. So the more the merrier. We're always happy to help them. Some of the other things we did, we just recently, like I said, school's just closed. We're happy to see everybody safely in the school years here. We manned so many crossings and made so many friends and different things like that. And we're very happy with the relationships we have with our 2 elementary schools that are like within a mile of each other. It's kind of a crazy setup here in Crofton, but other than that, I really have nothing to report. Like I said, with the one ACC or the one complaint I do have, like I said, it's so close to completion. I asked Jen Rogers for all the email updates to the ACC, and I should have that out by week's end. And hopefully we'll get an answer with what that's going to be. That's all I got for now.
Great. Thank you so much for your update. Are there any questions for Chief Jett? I have one. So you are fully staffed. You have your full sort of. Oh, no.
I technically am. I do have one out on disability leave at this time.
Oh,
So
okay.
probably a little extended, but technically I am, yes.
Okay, well, we hope for a speedy recovery and so that you can be fully staffed. Great. Thank you so much. No questions. All right. Well, you are welcome to stay, but we understand that you have a lot going on, so we will not be offended if you leave the meeting. Next, we have Arundel County Community College, Lieutenant Donato.
Hi, how's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Beating the heat out there. It's bad.
Yeah.
So we still have not had a complaint. I don't know what the streak is. I'm not going to jinx the streak. And this will probably be my last meeting. I'm going to day work. So Lieutenant Boblets will be taking over next month. As far as complimentary stuff, I talked about the cards we had issued before. I don't know what the data compilation on that is. I know routinely we will have encounters with the public, and I myself will give my cell phone to the person because I would rather they be able to get in touch with me, hourly rather than my desk phone. We get a lot of complaints on that kind of stuff that I don't tabulate. So I hope we're doing a good job. I think we are. And that's really it. I mean, as far as staffing, we're still short an officer. We have a 45-year officer that's retiring. So we had to move someone over. So we're still looking for a person right now, but there's been no complaints. And the summer is quiet for us. It's we have probably 1/10 of the population on campus, so we have 1/10 of the activity. So that's really it for us.
Great. Thank you. And just, I'd like to extend my thanks for being at, the meetings that we've had since the beginning and, always answering our questions and providing, reports and updates on, what your agency is doing. So thank you very much. And hopefully, the day shift isn't too busy, too crazy for you.
It's been eight years. I've never, in my 31 years, I've never had a traditional day work over any length of time.
Oh, wow.
So I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm sure, my dad used to work in a factory, not police work, but that third shift, that night shift was rough. And
Yep.
So I'm sure it'll be nice to have normal sleep hours.
I hope
But
so.
thank you so much
Thank
for,
you.
coming to our meetings. Are there any questions for Lieutenant Donato? All right, well, we wish you well, and we look forward to meeting. You said Lieutenant Bell?
Boblets.
Got
I'll
it.
brief him. I'll make
Yeah.
sure he's on his manners. If not, I'll come back.
Tell them we're very nice. We're a very nice board.
I know. Yep.
All right, well, again, you're welcome to stay, but not required. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so next we have the Anne Arundel County Sheriff's Office. And I think we have Corporal Gross.
I'm here, Brian Andre.
Oh, sorry. Captain Andre, welcome.
Welcome. So I want to introduce myself. I'm Brian Andre. I'm a 20-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office, a captain. Our captain who was previous, Ted Van Orsdale, retired after 47 years of law enforcement. So I know you guys worked with him a lot. So we wished him well in his 27 years with the county police and then 20 with us. So for us for this reporting period, we had one complaint. It was involved discourteous. We had a very active public engagement, lots of things. We attended I attended the hate bias forum right there at the community college from the Commission of Civil Rights back in late March. We did a victims walk in PG County, career day at Shady Side Elementary School, Southern District Barbecue Brawl, career day at Van Bocklin Elementary School. The sheriff attended the Anne Arundel County Community College graduation ceremony. The Annapolis Memorial Day Parade, Chesapeake Canine Fund Ruck Race, a fundraiser for the Chesapeake canine that helps all local agencies, us, Annapolis County, with their canine programs. Touch a Truck at the Texas Roadhouse. And this past weekend, Special Olympics Torch Run was on Wednesday. And Special Olympics Summer Games up in Towson, where we help hand medals to the athletes for the Special Olympics. It's always a fun time. And no trends with the one we had. There wasn't any, not very serious, but we didn't identify any trends this period, anything of concern or that we're worried about.
All right, thank you and welcome to your first meeting. So will you be reporting out quarterly on behalf of the Sheriff's Office moving forward?
Yes, I will.
Okay, great. And as always, I have to say, I love your reports. I love them. They're exactly, I like just, break it down to me in bullet form. And I know obviously you all don't get a lot of complaints, but it's super helpful for someone who's visual and likes to just, look at something so clearly written. So thank you for that.
You're
Are
welcome.
there any questions for Captain Andre? Okay, well, welcome and please extend our congratulations to Captain Van Orsdale. It was always a pleasure having him at the meetings, reporting out and sharing all the work that you are doing in the county. So thank you very much. Welcome to stay, but not required.
All right. Thank you all.
Have a good evening.
Yep.
All right, next we have Annapolis Police Department Director Blue, Acting Lieutenant Hipsky, and Captain, is it Miguez? Because I say everything in Spanish, or Miguez?
It's Miguez with like a TH at the
Miguez,
end.
okay,
Yes.
great, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, I'll start. I'm Director Lakeisha Blue. I'm the new director here at Annapolis Police Department for Internal Affairs. I
Welcome.
come from Baltimore City Police Department, where I retired with 27 years of police experience. I worked there in various positions. 15 of those years was various roles in the Internal Affairs Division. And I retired recently, March the 1st of this year. And I started here March the 27th.
Welcome.
Thank you.
will you be reporting out your quarterly report?
Yes, so the quarterly report, total number of complaints received since January 1st, 2022 was 57 complaints. Number of complaints received since the last quarterly report to the board was 7. I have no trends, 5 compliments since the last quarterly report, and I'll go over those briefly. One was a life-saving award where an officer responded to a shooting and applied a tourniquet to a shooting victim. 2 involved officers assisting citizens with parking situations. And 2 citizens expressed how officers were kind and professional during their encounter with them in the city of Annapolis. For the community engagement piece, we've had 110 events for the month of March and April. I did inquire for May and June, and I did not receive those reports. But during those events that happened in March and April, we had 19 PAIL events and activities during the month of April. And we've had 15 PAIL events during the month of March. Those events included boxing with the youth, volleyball, as well as a bike club.
Great, thank you so much, and welcome to the PAB, Anne Arundel County PAB meetings. I see you got a whole like 3 weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks of retirement. So we look forward to working with you in your new capacity. Any questions for Director Blue? I see Moya's hand up.
Not a question. I just wanted to let the PAB know that Jen, Tom, and myself met with Director Blue to discuss ACC matters, and we're just looking forward to continuing the working relationship we have with the Annapolis Police Department. So welcome again, Director Blue.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? All right, and then we'll also be hearing from Captain Megath soon. After we finish with the agencies. So next we have Anne Arundel County Police Department, Captain Ashburn and Lieutenant Ott. Welcome.
Good evening. And thank you for having us here tonight. I talked about last quarter about our CALIA assessment. We had the CALIA assessment done where the assessor spent 4 days interviewing and touring multiple aspects of our department. There are very few agencies across the country who receive this prestigious accreditation. And I'm happy to say that once again, we are accredited for 4 more years. We had 2 assessors tour the department and assess to make sure we were compliant. One was a retired officer from Florida, and one was a current lieutenant from Texas who was from their Officer Professional Standards and their accreditation unit. One of the assessors made mention at the end of the exit interview to keep doing what you're doing, had no recommendations to offer the department, which he said is probably the first time he's ever done that. He also said that we need more Anne Arundel counties. So we pride ourselves to be exceptional. And this speaks that we had outside assessors come in and they see what we do to better our communities. The department also attended multiple career days. They engaged multiple community members, both adults and our youth within the communities throughout each district with Easter egg hunts during Easter. We had a new driver and how to interact with the police when you're pulled over on a traffic stop at our Southern District. We had our Golf with a Cop event, Soapbox Derby at Arundel Mills. Our baseball camp was last week. We had 3 department employees graduate from the Anne Arundel County Leadership Development Program that partners with the Anne Arundel Community College. We had commanders and officers attend the Fallen Heroes Day at the Laney Valley Cemetery. We attended the Blue Mass in Washington, D.C. We held our department's Fallen Heroes Memorial Service at our training academy this year. We had 10 officers and ride and support the 300-plus mile police unity tour that starts in New Jersey and ends in Washington, D.C. for the police memorial. We participated in the torch run And finally, this past weekend, we participated at the Annapolis Juneteenth Parade. For our stats, I'll turn that over to Lieutenant Ott. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. On the internal affairs front, since the inception of the MPAA, we're now at 211 complaints. Of those, 100 currently, since the last quarterly report, we're up to 22 complaints. Just on that complaint front, it may appear a trend as our data is rising, but as I believe I spoke in the last meeting, we're now sending departmental collisions there, and this is the full first quarter where that's been live. So there are multiple cases now going. So although it appears that our data is on the rise, it's not so much new types of complaints coming in. It's just the way we're handling departmental collisions. There's multiple cases at the ACC right now, and more to come this week. We have moved one through, since the last meeting, one complaint through mediation. It didn't involve a member of the public. It was an internal matter, and that was successfully mediated. And we're at 20 compliments since the last meeting. And that's all I have regarding internal affairs and complaint data. So thank you for your time and have a good evening.
Great. Thank you both very much for those updates. Are there any questions for Captain Ashburn or Lieutenant Ott? I just wanted to congratulate you on your 4 more years of CALIA accreditation. I know that that is like the gold standard and very difficult to achieve. So to be able to attain that, maintain that, and also with 0 recommendations, you know, we recognize that that is a really big deal. So congratulations. And we agree, I would agree that there should be more Anne Arundel counties. You know, the work that all of the agencies are doing is great work, and certainly you being the largest agency have more resources to be able to partner with our smaller law enforcement agencies and with community members. And I know that you all provide training and kind of guidance to other agencies across the state and the country. So we're really proud of that. So thank you. No questions? All right. Well, thank you. Again, welcome to stay, but not required to. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, new business. So welcome again to Captain Migueth. She is the LGBTQ liaison for the Annapolis Police Department, City of Annapolis Police Department. And we asked her to come and speak to us about the work that she's doing in the community in honor of Pride Month, June being Pride Month. And so welcome. We look forward to, you know, hearing the work that you're doing in the community and, you know, how we can be good partners.
Great. Good evening, everyone. I'm Captain Amy Migueth with Annapolis Police Department. I've been with the department for 25 years now. I'm currently the captain over administrative services. So I tell people that means everything that's not patrol and not investigations and not IA. So pretty much anything else from the cars people drive to our building, to our records, to our dispatch, to our property and evidence is all me. Budget, payroll, lots of things. So we're a small department. There's 3 captains. I am a proud ally of the LGBTQ community. And I'll have to start with the beginning. When I was a sergeant in 2018, I also would go to yoga. And one of the other students in my yoga class, which was really fabulous, was Jeremy Browning, who is now the director of the Maryland Commission on LGBTQIA+ Affairs. So Jeremy and I were friendly from yoga. And we spoke a bit about, you know, our backgrounds and our work and things like that. So when he got the idea for Annapolis Pride, you know, he was really going strong, researching different things. And one of the things he looked up was the Equality Index, which gives different municipalities points based on different laws they have, different positions they have, you know, for the LGBTQ+ community. And one of the things that would give a lot of points was having police LGBTQ liaisons. So he pitched it to our current chief. At that point, it was Chief Baker. Chief Baker was on board with us having a liaison position. At the time, I was our public information officer as well as in our community outreach unit. It seemed to be a good spot to have the liaison in. And I was, happy to do it. We, obviously, just like any police department, we have, well, probably most police departments, we have a number of LGBTQ members. And at the time, it's not something you want to make someone do, right? So I was more than happy to do that. And I started immediately educating myself and meeting all the different groups in Annapolis that some I was aware of already and some I wasn't. So, I'd already been in schools, but not specifically to school clubs. And the middle schools in Annapolis, as well as the high school, have clubs for kids, Gay Straight Alliance, GSA, that's usually what they're called. And so I, took it upon myself to go and talk to them about, any concerns, to really listen to them and hear what they were interested in. I also went to the local PFLAG meeting, which meets just outside the city off of Bestgate Road. And they have 3 different groups that meet. They have like a kind of teen group, an adult group, and then a parent group. And PFLAG is Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays is what it stands for, but it's kind of morphed over the years into a lot of like transgender and non-binary, because that's really where more support is needed these days. When PFLAG started many years ago, it was a big deal to have a relative come out just as gay or lesbian. So this was, nowadays, thankfully, it's kind of changed a little bit. And so again, I met with those groups again, just to listen and to hear what was going on, with them, and then their concerns, anything that they had questions about, which usually was not LGBTQ related, but just random police questions. And then also other social groups. So there's Annapolis Pride, but there are other groups that meet in Annapolis, EQAAC and things like that, just to touch base with as many people as I could, as well as meeting with the city's Human Relations Committee. And we even had at one point, I think in 2019, we had a delegation from Russia visit and talk about just how things had changed for the worse there in the years, preceding that, and have gotten worse. So the position really is like it's a resource for the community. If anyone has questions or wants us to come to an event in particular, I'm happy to go. I am also a resource for officers. So not just professionally, but, if people need to know about PFLAG, because they have a kid, or a relative that they're, wanting to get some support on. I believe Corporal Caitlin Stanley did a presentation for you guys as well. And so she and I work really closely together as well. Last year, she and I trained both of our whole departments on gender diversity and hate crimes. So that was really great. And that's part of the thing that we do is the training, the education. I've also done panel discussions. Usually Annapolis Pride has organized them on safety and things like that with Dr. Gedden from the health department. I also monitor hate crimes in Annapolis and make sure those are forwarded to the Human Relations Committee. Just a general contact with the community. I'm on the Annapolis Pride Advisory Board, so not their main board, but they have a separate advisory board. So I'm, I go to events and they have events for us. There's a new organization that started in Annapolis, or sorry, in Maryland called Responders for Pride, which is kind of a group of LGBTQ plus first responders, and it's focusing on wellness and support for each other, a lot of like mental health, which is, I think, a lot of the focus in police work these days, is just making sure that we're checking in on ourselves and taking care of each other. And then I've also presented to the Maryland Municipal League, has a committee on LGBTQ plus. So they arranged for me to talk about being a police liaison and kind of how to start a police liaison in their local police departments. So I'm looking to hopefully pass my torch to a younger officer in the future. And it really, it's an important position. I think, especially now, the community is very scared. There's a lot of concerns. So all I do is, help them know that we're paying attention, see what we can do to make them feel better in Annapolis. It's mainly about listening and learning from them, and then also educating them on the work that we do. So I have a child in Anne Arundel County Public Schools who's in the community. So I've dealt with that with the schools, and I've had a good experience with them so far. So if anyone has any questions or
Thank you so much for providing that background. Sounds like you're not busy at all. And congratulations on 25 years. That's amazing. And thank you for your service to the community and to the county. And I think Sean and I, as former ACPS employees, are happy to know that you've had positive experiences with the whole system. If you don't, give us a call. But are there any questions for Captain Miga or comments?
Captain Mika, I appreciate all your presentation as well. I just curious if you could kind of note any kind of increase in like events or responses by the LGBTQ liaison. Has there been any major trends change in our county? And also, are any, pending, I mean, we can see there's, the government is just very unstable at this point. Do we have any kind of perception of any challenges to this kind of a program in our county?
Not at this point, as far as focused on us. I would not be surprised, any kind of diversity initiative can be a target. It seems like. As far as an increase, there was the well-publicized flag that was torn down on Maryland Avenue. But beyond that, there has not been anything recently in Annapolis like that. One thing I emphasize to the community when I've talked to them about things like safety is, don't leave it unsaid. Don't assume that the officer has the same experience that you have and is going to make the same logical progressions because they've not lived your experience. And so say it out loud. Say it out loud that you think you were targeted because of your gender identity, your sexual preference, whatever it is. The officer isn't necessarily going to make that assumption because they haven't lived, some of them haven't lived that experience. So I think that was something that I've gotten feedback on as like, I didn't think about that. Like, there's a lot of things that we see as obvious. And so we don't verbalize it. And if someone hasn't been in that position or doesn't want to make an assumption about your gender identity or sexual preference, so like that's part of it, is not wanting to make assumptions. So it's like, just say it out loud. And then I said, if they don't do a good job, then call up the complaint, the complaint number, and they don't even have to call the police department. They can call you guys and, and get their complaint heard, so I want people to know that if they have a bad experience, they can speak about it and they don't have to come to us.
Thank you. That's a very good reminder. Thank you.
And thank you for, that's good advice. I feel like in a lot of
Yes,
ways, you know, to
a lot of
say the
different.
thing out loud, because to your point, people don't want to make assumptions, but also, you know, we've all had different life experiences. So like what's obvious to me, it may not be obvious to someone else. So thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? I have a question. So in your time, in your role as liaison, um, have you found like a shift in the relationship with the community, with LGBTQ plus community and the police department, you know, based on like your role and your outreach to the community?
Well, I would say in Annapolis, we've had a good relationship in the past and through to the present. I think it's been strengthened and improved by, you know, not just us having a liaison, but by having groups like Annapolis Pride, which, you know, wasn't around before, and being out in the open. And I also, you know, we've been through difficult periods together. Um, so I recently spoke at a Responders for Pride event with Jeremy Browning. He was invited to speak, and he was like, he invited me along to be on to speak with him, and we recounted in for one of the early parades. It was a time when, you know, Black Lives Matter was, you know, big, and the community was really wanting to support the Black Lives Matter community. And they, New York Pride banned New York police officers from walking in the parade for 5 years, I think it was.
Mhm.
And then DC Pride's parade had they allowed the officers to walk, and they actually had protesters disrupt the parade because of that. They chained themselves across the parade route. So, you know, Jeremy was still running Annapolis Pride at that point, and he, you know, wanted to respond to the community's concerns and be sensitive to having the police involved. I know we, the LGBTQ plus officers in, you know, Anne Arundel County, were really excited about being in the parade, you know, and about being part of something that was part of their off-duty personality, as well as bringing in their pride of their job. And so, you know, Jeremy and I were talking about recounting this because we were both like just, we're like calling each other crying, and we're like just, you know, upset, like, you know, he's upset that he might tell us not to walk in it, and I'm upset that he might tell us not to walk in it. But, you know, in the end of the day, you know, I was like, my feelings would be hurt, you know, for a little bit, but it was more about the relationship ongoing. It wasn't going to stop us from having a relationship. And, you know, so I would understand what he decided. And in the end, we did walk. We just decided we didn't walk in uniform, you know, and we've done that during the years. We've just walked in, you know, responder t-shirts and things like that. So, you know, I think that that's just part of having a relationship with people. You don't always, you know, we have to, and this was a big part of the training that Corporal Stanley and I did, is like, you have to know the history between the community and the police, and you have to acknowledge it, and not because it's your police department that did, you know, whatever, but because a police department did, and it is a common thing that has happened. So we can't just not acknowledge it. And that's what we stress in our training, is like, we're not trying to like be like, oh, you're such a bad police department, you guys are really bad police officers, you know. And it's like, no, but there there are bad things that have happened, wrong things that happened, and we have to acknowledge them and take responsibility for making things better. So that's the way I see it.
Thank you for sharing that. Are there any other questions or comments? I just have one comment. I'm happy to hear that you and Corporal Stanley, collaborate and work together. I guess I do have somewhat of a follow-up quickly, and I see Tom's hand up. Do you have the opportunity to collaborate with liaisons from other police departments around the state?
So we do sometimes. So for for World Pride, there was a large group that DC was organizing. So DC has a very active group. I've also been in touch with PG County over the years, and Baltimore City has a group. And we really wanted to try and do more collaboratively. I think we're just so busy in in the midst of everything, our day-to-day stuff, that it's not as much, because I think that that there's so many good things that other places are doing. People also have different struggles too, in different areas, and you can really learn from that.
Thank you. Tom?
Thank you for your presentation, Captain. I just wanted to point out this, listening to you reminded me of a couple things. I'm on the Bar Association for the county, the Diversity and Inclusion Division, one of the co-chairs this year, and I came across a guidance memorandum that was released by the Attorney General's office in February of 2025. It goes through executive orders, kind of a resource guide for folks with questions from that community. It talks about healthcare, talks about schools, talks about employment, housing, hate crimes, identification, and programs and services. And so I sent that over to Jen. I understand she'll forward that to the PAB. And second thing is that we have a lunch and learn tomorrow that is being put on for Pride Month by someone from Free State. One of the attorneys from Free State will be one of the presenters, and Marla Zayed, a former Bar Association president. You guys got me thinking about this, and I'm asking that be shared with you too. If you're available at noon tomorrow, it's free. You just have to register. Thanks,
Great, thank you
for all the information, Captain. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tom, especially for mentioning that Attorney General's guide that did come out this a few months ago. That's been very helpful and been utilized by all agencies across the state navigating these walkers nowadays. And Jen did put the link in the chat to the AG guide, and we'll also email it to us as well. All right, if there aren't any other questions for Captain Miguel, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, and thank you for the work that you're doing in the community. Obviously, if we could ever be helpful or a resource, you know how to find us. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, I just was looking in the participants. I don't see any new attendees for public comments. I think we're good to go there. Announcements. So our next meeting will be on Monday, August 25th at 6:30 p.m. virtually. So enjoy the month of July off. And I see Moya's hand up as well.
Good evening again, everyone. I just want to let you all know as a group that Daniel, Jeanette, Sean, and Sharon have agreed to stay on the PAB. So they have been reappointed for another 3 years.
You're stuck with us. Look at you.
So, and also we do have a new member that will be starting at the, technically he starts July 1st, but his first meeting will be August 25th, and his name is Brian Conrad. So we'll welcome him to the August 25th meeting.
Thank you so much, Moya. And no pressure to the rest of you, but when it's that time to commit, be reappointed for another 3 years, we will be looking to you to join us. Jen, did you have any updates, announcements for us? Okay, and just like the regular announcement of please, oh, I'm sorry, were you talking?
I was going to say it's almost July, which means we just have 6 months left to do your ride along for the year.
Yes, thank you.
So I will start sending email reminders about that shortly.
Yes, thank you so much. And as Dan said, like, thank you to Jen for keeping us on top of all of our requirements. I know she is super patient with me. I tell her, I'm like, just send me a text. You're not going to hurt my feelings, like, you know, with all the emails. But thank you. We really do appreciate it. We know it's a lot to like manage so many people, plus all the other things that you're doing. So you and Moya keep us straight. So thank you both. And mentioning emails, just make sure you're checking your emails at least once a week for anything that might be coming our way. And if there are no other announcements or questions, did want to say and bring conversation. Thank you for the feedback on the proposed speaker calendar that I sent out. As I mentioned in the email, you know, it's just, we're not wedded to the calendar, happy to make updates, changes. But I think it would just be helpful for us to kind of identify like what potential speakers from the community or from the agencies that we would like to come and speak to us, you know, different about different topics or during different months. So this was Pride Month, you know, we have Black History Month, etc. Mental health awareness, like last month. So that'll be helpful to keep us kind of organized and on track. But obviously, if you have any suggestions or additions, please just send them our way. We're happy to. I know there's been mention of the Public Defender's Office. Absolutely, we'd love to have Public Defender and State's Attorney's Office come in. There's been Cedric, I know you're interested in the mental health, the new mental health court.
Yes, I think that would be a great opportunity to learn the scope of who's eligible to even participate in the new county's mental health court. And I think it would be really good for us to partner with them to listen, learn, and maybe even understand better the challenges surrounding the criminal justice system and those individuals who may be experiencing mental health challenges. So I think that would be an admirable thing for us to even look at and maybe stay engaged in that particular topic.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be great to hear. We had the county's crisis response intervention team and police department, you know, and talked to us last month about their collaboration, the work that they're doing, but to get it from the court perspective, I think would be really helpful, you know, for us in educational. Tom, I see your hand.
I would just say there's also a drug court and there's also a veterans court.
Ooh, so maybe we could do like a meeting where we have representatives from each of the courts in the county to kind of talk to us, because I think, you know, these are individuals oftentimes that do find themselves in the criminal justice system, disproportionately so. And there could be some kind of cross issues or shared challenges, if you will. So if that sounds like a good idea, we can definitely look into having representatives in the next, hopefully by the end of the year, come and talk to us. That would be great. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Cedra. All right. So thank you again. But if you think of anything else, just send it our way and we'll work on having folks come and educate us on the work that they're doing. Great. Well, again, next meeting is Monday, August 25th, 6:30 virtually. See you then. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. This meeting is adjourned. I'll see you in August. Bye.
Stay hydrated or inside.
Yes.
Okay.